All right, here we are, quarter four, week four, day 4. All right, so we're going to find the quotient, and we have a 5 divided by 25, or 2 over 5. Okay, so 5 as a fraction is going to be 5 over 1. So once again, if we're dividing, we keep change flip. So we're going to keep the 5 over 1. We're going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and we're going to flip the 2 over 5 and make it 5 over 2. All right, there's no cross reducing we can do, with the 5 and the 2 or the 5 and the 1. Okay, so we're just going to multiply across. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 2 is 2. All right, that's an improper fraction, so we need to make it into a mixed number. How many times will 2 go into 25 without going over? Well, 2 times 13 would be 26, so 2 times 14, or 2 times 12 is 24, so it's going to be 12, right? 2 times 12 is 24. We've used up 24 of the 25, which means there's 1 left over in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. So the answer is 12.5. Out of 30 problems on a test, Josie got 4 of them wrong. Okay, so what percentage did Josie get correct? Well, if they got 4 wrong out of 30, well, what's 30 minus 4? Yeah, it's 26. So we put 26 out of 30 would be how much Josie got correct, right? So, well, once again, we can just take the 26 divided by 30 and get a decimal. So if we do that, 26 divided by 30. Okay, so what would happen at that point is you would have, let's see, I think you'd end up with the point here, put zeros. So I think it's going to be 0.866 forever, right there. So basically, we could say it's 87%, right? 87%. If we rounded this 6 to a 7, because the next one's going to be 6. The other thing we can do is scale it down, right? What can go into 30 that'll take it down to 10? Well, we can divide by 3, right? And if we do that, we have to divide 26 by 3. Well, 26 divided by 3 is 8.6 forever and ever and ever. So if we were then to say, let's scale it up to 100, right? So this would be times 10. So we would do this times 10, which would make it 8.6 for eternity, or actually, sorry, 86. Let me back this up, not 8.6. 86.6 forever and ever and ever, right? So then this would round this up to 87, so we would get 87% that way. Okay, so we can find a common denominator, or make the denominator 100, and that would give us our percent, or we could just take the top number divided by the bottom number. So we know so many different ways now to get percent, but that is a couple of the ways that you can do that. So the answer is 87%. List 3 values that would make this inequality true. All right, so we're going to have 9n is greater than or equal to 117. Well, we need to get the n by itself, which means we're going to do the opposite operation of what is happening. So 9 right next to an n means multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So what would we divide into 9 to get 1? Just 1n. Well, obviously 9, right? 9 goes into 9 once, so this is just n is greater than or equal to. And then we take 117 divided by 9, and that equals 13. So with that being the case, if we say this, n is greater than or equal to 13, that means it can equal 13. Okay, can be 13, can be one of them. And then n can be any number that's bigger than 13. So what numbers are bigger than 13? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So anything larger than that, I mean, you could put something silly like 210 even. So any number that is larger than or equal to 13 can be on one of these lines. Haley is going to paint a wall in her bedroom. The bottom part of the wall is a rectangle. That's 16 by 18 feet. Okay, so I actually drew that right down here. And then the top part of the is a triangle. So here's some more of the wall. So there's like a triangular part of it right there. And that's 18 feet by 8 feet. So I went ahead and drew that. So it kind of gives you a visual of what we're trying to get done. All right, so to find this total area, we need to find this part of the wall. Well, we do length, or base times height, right? Or length times width. So it's going to be 18 times 16, and that equals 288 feet squared. Okay, so that is the rectangular part. All right, so we need to find the triangular part, which the base is 18. The height here is 8. So it's going to be 18 times 8, which is 144. So is that the area of the triangle? No. Okay, that's the area of basically a rectangle. So to find the triangle, you divide 144 by 2, and that becomes 72. Okay, so the area of the triangle is 72 feet squared. So then we just put 72 plus 288, and that equals 360 feet squared. Okay, that's how much area would need to be covered, okay, if they are painting the wall, 360 feet squared. To get ready for the big community bake sale, the baker is baking cookies. His first batch, he made 48 cookies. The second is 78 cookies. The third is 54 cookies. And the fourth is 68 cookies. Okay, so what is the mean? Okay, so to find the mean, we're just going to add them all up and divide by 4 because there's 4 different batches. Okay, so there's no really necessary reason to do this, but when we're finding the mean, but I always like putting the data from least to greatest. So 48 was the smallest batch, then 54, and then 68, and then 78. Okay, so we're going to add those up. 48 plus 54 plus 68 plus 78, and that equals 248. 248. So at this point, we're going to take 248 divided by 4. So 248 divided by 4 is 62. Okay, so what is the mean? Okay, the mean for this is 62. Okay, we add them all up, divide by the 4 numbers in the data set. There's your answer. All right, so it says find the mean absolute deviation of the set of data. First, we have to find the mean, so we have to add up 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10. All right, 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10, or we could have just done 20, is 40. Okay, so the mean is 40. All right, so that's unfortunately not going to give us our answer we need because we need the mean absolute deviation. Okay, so we have to take, well, actually, the mean is not 40, is it? So I made a mistake on that. So the mean is 40 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So 40 divided by 5 is 8. Sometimes you get into a rush and you make a mistake, right? So mean is 8. So we're going to take each number, 10, 10, 8, 6, and 6, and we're going to subtract it from 8. Okay, so each one of these is how far it is from 8. Right, so 10 minus 8 is 2, 10 minus 8 is 2, 8 minus 8 is 0, 6 minus 8 is negative 2, but we don't care, and then 6 minus 8 is negative 2, but again, we don't care. So 2, 4, 6, so we're going to add these together, 2, 4, 6, and 8, so that's 8. But we're going to take 8 and divide it by 4, divided by 5, right, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in the data set. So we're going to take 8 divided by 5, and that's going to be 1.6. So that's the mean absolute deviation. 1.6 is the mean absolute deviation. Okay, so there we go. Graph the ordered pair -5, -5, and its reflection over the y-axis. It always has us reflect over the y-axis, which is kind of cool. It's always left and right. If they told us to reflect over the x-axis, it would be up and down, right? Okay, so to graph -5, -5, we're going to start here at the origin. -5 left and right is going to be to the left, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that way. And then the second one, the second -5 is going to be up and down, which means obviously to go into the negative numbers, you go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be right here. It's going to be -5, -5. But again, we're going to reflect over the y-axis. If they told us to reflect over the x-axis, it would be up here somewhere. Okay, but they're not doing that. They're telling us to reflect over the y-axis. So how far is it from this line right here? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So let's count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there, that would be the reflection over the y-axis. So that's the answer for that. All right, compare the numbers with greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, well, I don't see any of these numbers down here below that are equal to each other. And then all of them are decimals except for this one here. Since this is not a decimal, I'd like to make it that. And I know that 1/2 is 0.5. So I'm going to make this 0.5, and I guess I'll just put a 0 there too, just for the heck of it. Okay, so now it's going to be a little easier to see. And again, make sure you know it's a negative number. So let's see. So zeros here are a tie, so there's nothing we can do with that. This is a 5 and this is a 7. But remember, they're negative numbers. So a -7 would be further to the left on the number line than a -5. So with that being the case, -7 would be less. So any number that is further to the left is going to be less. So there we go. That's the answer for the first one. Let's look at the second one. We have a negative number and a positive number. Now we don't even have to look at the numbers anymore. A positive number is always going to be bigger or greater than a negative number. So they made it easy on us for that one. All right, so 5.2 is greater than -9.9. Jonathan places a star on a coordinate plane at -2, -7. He wants to place another star across the y-axis. Okay, here's the y-axis. And it must be 5 points away. Where will Jonathan place the other star? Okay, so I did the first one here, at -2, -7. And then to move over 5 points, you could see I went 1, 2, that's 2 places. And then 3, 4, 5 to place the other star. And ultimately, that location would have to be a +3, right? So +3 this direction, and then down 7. So I'll put it on some graph paper to make it look a little bit clearer than this. Okay, once again, we started with -2, which is 1, 2 over, and then down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's where the first dot would be. Now, what they're asking us to do is not do a reflection. If we were doing a reflection, it would be right there, right? Because it would be 2 on the opposite side. But that's not what they're asking us to do. It says we're going to go across the y-axis, and we're going to go 5 points. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Okay, and again, I guess those are supposed to be stars, right? So we can make this a star. All right, and then make this a star. Okay, and then we can see that they're 5 apart. So let's see what the actual coordinates are for each one of these. So for this one, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 over, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. So it's going to be a +3 and then -7. Okay, so again, this would be our answer. The +3, -7 would be 5 away from the first ordered pair.